What is up, guys? So two new trailers have been released for the Elseworlds crossover. The first one deals with Supergirl, or rather it's just Kara Danvers, and the second one has to do with Batwoman, and it is easily the best trailer that has been released for Elseworlds as of right now, while the first two that I already went over, if you want to check out that video, link will be in the top right corner of the video, go over Oliver Queen and Barry Allen, which means that only Superman is left to get a trailer. But before that happens, I will break down these two trailers. They're not the exact same thing like the other two were, so I will break them down separately. While the first one, which has to do with Supergirl, don't really have much to say about that one. The second one with Batwoman, I have a lot to say. So I'll show the Supergirl one, break it down, then the Batwoman one, and break it down. So without further ado, let's watch the Supergirl trailer for Elseworlds.
You are as despicable as they come. You are dangerous, and you are clearly crazy.
Alex, please. I know the world looks one way to you, that we're sisters.
So, first of all, I would say this trailer is a pretty boring trailer for the Elseworlds crossover. I mean, nothing in it really happens. It's only one scene, while the other ones were also just one scene. It's not a very interesting scene compared to the other three trailers, so I would say this is not a very good trailer, but that's not to say it doesn't give anything away, because it definitely does. So first of all, it gives away the fact that Alex Danvers will be appearing in this crossover. That has yet to be confirmed until this trailer. Secondly, it confirms that this Alex Danvers is most likely an Elseworlds version, and more specifically, she is most likely working for the black-suited Superman of whatever universe he is from. You could tell by the fact that while she is evil, first of all, or she is against Supergirl, but more specifically, she's wearing the black-suited Superman symbol on her costume, basically confirming that she is working for that Superman. Another thing is that since this trailer takes place in Star Labs, or since this scene takes place in Star Labs, that basically confirms that the black-suited Superman will be working out of Star Labs. Who knows, maybe there's an identical Star Labs in Metropolis, or he is actually living in Central City on this universe. I don't know at this point, but this scene, since it is taking place in Star Labs, most likely means that Superman will be working out of Star Labs in this universe. So with that out of the way, let's go over the much better trailer for this crossover, the Batwoman trailer.
You don't believe in Batman? Batman is an urban legend. That's not Batman. No, it is not.
Okay, so 1 second in, we already have so much to talk about. So first of all, you have this awesome shot of Batwoman on this building, obviously very indicative of a bunch of Batman shots, iconic Batman shots, and I gotta say, it looks pretty awesome. Speaking of Batman, from the first second in this trailer, the first name drop of Batman in the history of the Arrowverse has been uttered. Bruce Wayne has been mentioned before, specifically in the second episode of Season 6 of Arrow, but this is the first time that Batman has been mentioned, and it is not the last in this trailer. But since this is the first time, it was so awesome to hear. But there is an even more awesome mention of Batman later in this trailer that I will get to in this breakdown. So we see that there is a breakout at Arkham Asylum, which happens every other week in Gotham City, but this one in particular is most likely being set off by Dr. John Deegan, and I'm really hopeful we see at least a dozen or maybe half a dozen Batman villains, major Batman villains, in this Arkham Asylum escape. There is one that's already hinted at in the trailer, specifically the Joker, when this guy, who kind of looks like the Joker if you don't look closely, jumps off this balcony like the Joker would jump, and you hear this laugh. This is obviously not the Joker. If you pause the video, his hair isn't green and his skin isn't completely white, but this is a clear hint to the Joker, and who knows, maybe he will have a cameo in this crossover, and I'm really hoping that this crossover uses, or at least has a cameo for a whole lot of Batman villains, major ones, minor ones, because Batman has such a large rogue gallery that Arrow, who has used like a dozen Batman villains, means that Batman probably still has enough villains to fill 10 whole seasons where each episode has a different villain of the week, and he probably will not run out of major villains for a very, very long time. So I'm hoping that at least some of those villains will be appearing in this crossover. One of them that will most likely be appearing is Mr. Freeze, as Nora Freeze, his wife, has been confirmed for the crossover, and what would be the point of that character without Mr. Freeze to be right beside her, so that's something I'm very excited for as well. But anyway, getting back to the trailer, we hear another newscaster or something saying that Batman is an urban legend in this universe, and that would make sense. That would basically explain why he's never been mentioned before in the Arrowverse, specifically by all these superheroes. When superheroes were first appearing in the Arrowverse, like the Arrow, it felt like such a big thing when that wouldn't make sense because Batman has been around for such a long time. But considering Batman's only an urban legend in this universe, first of all, that makes Batman seem a little bit more badass than he already is, and second of all, it would explain why Batman has not been mentioned in the Arrowverse before, or at least has never been directly mentioned in the Arrowverse before. So then there's this shot of Batwoman landing on the street, which is pretty awesome. She does a superhero landing, but then there's this even more awesome shot of the Green Arrow, who is at this point most likely Barry Allen, uncovering the bat signal, which is such an awesome thing to say. But aside from how awesome it is, the reason that it looks so dusty and the reason that it has a cover on it is because it hasn't been used in at least 3 years, because Batman has been inexplicably missing for those 3 years, which, just based off all the references he's had and the fact that Talia al Ghul most likely met up with him just a couple of weeks ago, or actually 2 weeks ago, that doesn't really make any sense. I'm hopeful that they explain that, or maybe he is missing, but Talia al Ghul knows how to get to him or something. I don't know, but this is definitely a really cool shot, and it also explains not really much, but it does clarify a bunch of things about the crossover, which is that the bat signal has not been used in a really long time. So then we get a real first look at Batwoman in action. We obviously have other shots in action in this trailer, but it's not really a good look at Batwoman. Here we have 12 seconds into the trailer, a good look, and it looks so cool. I've said this in other videos, but just based off the photos, the costume is already one of my favorite costumes in the Arrowverse, and this shot definitely reinforces that. It's a very good looking costume, very comic book accurate, and I'm hoping that it looks badass in the fight scenes. I'm hoping that it makes this crossover and her show after that so much more badass than they already would have been. But then we have maybe the greatest line in the history of the Arrowverse. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but the greatest line in all these trailers, which is the Green Arrow, aka Barry Allen at this point, saying, "That's not Batman." Now sure, on paper, that's not a very cool line, and also in the trailer it is a cool line, but it's not like it has this crazy impact that it would have. But just the fact that Barry Allen and also Green Arrow at the same time kind of is saying that's not Batman, acknowledging the fact that Batman is a thing and really saying Batman's name, is so cool. I mean, it is so cool. The Arrowverse has basically not really acknowledged the fact that Batman has existed until this point. Like I said before, he's never been directly mentioned, so for Barry Allen to directly mention Batman is honestly ridiculously cool, and it just gets me so much more excited for not only this crossover, but the Batwoman TV show as well, and more importantly, the future of the Arrowverse if Batman and the rest of the DC Universe ever appears. But anyway, those are the breakdowns for those two trailers. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and out of the 4 trailers, which one did you like the most? Me personally, I would say the worst one was easily the Supergirl one, because it was a scene that wasn't very interesting. All it did was give away everything that had to do with Alex and what she's doing around here. Nothing else, nothing really cool happening, nothing that was revealed that was cool, so I would put that one easily at the bottom. The second to worst was the Oliver Queen one, which was a scene that definitely gave away a lot, and it was a cool scene, but I felt like, I mean, it's not a bad trailer whatsoever, but I felt like the Barry Allen one did the same thing, but just a little bit better. And then obviously second place would go to the Barry Allen crossover, or the Barry Allen trailer rather, because that was what the trailer with Oliver Queen did, but just a little bit better. I felt the way they handled it in that trailer was just a little bit better than the other one. And then obviously first place goes to the Batwoman trailer, which mentioned Batman 3 times and showed off Batwoman like never before. It was an awesome trailer that really set the mood of the crossover, or at least this part of the crossover, the Gotham City part of the crossover, really well. It's an awesome trailer, and I'm so much more excited for Elseworlds after this trailer. But let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.